I think one of the reasons I was most giddy yesterday that the NFL raised the salary cap, helping the Denver Broncos avoid that $23 million pit right in front of them, was that I think that means that Justin Simmons is coming back next year in orange and blue, and that year 9 of his Denver Broncos destiny is going to be the year that we get into the playoffs. So we're going to break down some things Justin Simmons said today that should make you very, very excited. If you're new to this channel, my name is Ben. I break down all things Denver sports. It is awesome having you along for the ride. So leading up to free agency coming up here in just a little bit, we got the franchise tagging period right now, NFL Combine just a week away. We've seen more and more rumors and speculation about the Denver Broncos maybe needing to move on from Justin Simmons because of the cap consequences. So we saw kind of legitimate sources saying that there's at least a likely action on Justin Simmons. Some people were even saying we're going to straight up cut him for nothing. Others were saying that the best we could hope for would be like, let's trade him to the Lions for a 4th-round draft pick or something like that. And that did not sit well with most of Broncos country because he is a fan favorite. He works his butt off. He's a leader on and off the field for the Broncos. And so you just see a lot of these things just was not sitting well. We saw a rumor to the Lions. We saw a rumor to the Packers. We saw a rumor to the Bears. All of that for a late 4th, 5th round draft pick. So what is really cool is that, and I'm just flashing these up on the screen here just so you can see, like, this was the prevailing narrative out there that the Broncos were in big trouble. They had to move on from him. But what we end up seeing is that Justin Simmons was the honorary captain for the HBCU game today. He was recruited by Florida A&M, which is a historically black college, and his grandma graduated from one of them. And at the last second, he got recruited by Boston, so he ended up going and playing there. But what you see is he came out today. He was like on the sideline, and I think he flipped the coin and was interviewed about his future. And what you hear a lot of times in those interviews, like you've all seen them before during preseason games, and you call a guy over, and they are so skilled at saying nothing, right? And Justin Simmons, having been in the NFL for 9 years now, if he really knew that he was on his way out, or if he thought that was even slightly a possibility, his answers to the questions from this sideline reporter would not have been like what they are. So I wrote down the exact quote from here that I just thought was amazing. I want to read it to you. But again, I think the important thing here is that if Justin Simmons thought his future was in danger with the Denver Broncos, he would not have said this. And I think if he thought the sun was not rising on this Broncos team, if he did not see great things in front of us, he would not have said this. So let me read this to you. So she asked him a little bit about the game and what he liked about the players and the HBCU he almost went to. That was cool. I'll link this in the show notes as well. But she asked, hey, what do you think about this Broncos team? You've been on it for 9 years. You've picked Mahomes off more than any other player. And he said, I've always said I want to be part of the team that fixes what's been missing here. I feel that next year with Sean and what he's been doing and what he's been doing around the culture that he's been establishing and the guys that we're bringing back, this is going to be something special to accomplish in Denver because Denver deserves that. So I think that is an amazing statement that he's not kind of just half sitting on it. Like, he is declaring that I'm coming back and I'm going to be a part of the thing that turns this around because Denver deserves it. And then I think the part that I love the most was the culture that he's been setting. And I think this is probably like the most looked past thing as people are maybe being down on the Broncos and they're saying, oh, look, we gave a 1st and a 2nd for Sean Payton, and what difference did he make? Well, first off, he won 3 more games than Nathaniel Hackett. That is massive. He got more out of Russell Wilson than Nathaniel Hackett, right, who was supposed to be this whisperer coming from Green Bay. But the thing that I just love is the culture part. I've said that a bunch of times, but to hear it from this player is amazing. And so look at this. This was our season. We lost our opener to Vegas with some fluky missed kicks. Lutz didn't do that the rest of the year. We were up massively on Washington. It was the best first half of football we saw from Russ all year. And partly because Simmons was hurt, they stormed back and beat us. And then we just get mollywopped by our former defensive coordinator, Vic Fangio. And at 0-3, it would have been so easy to quit. We go on the road to Chicago. Chicago is one of the toughest places to play. The Bears fans are crazy. And we were down really big at half against the Chicago Bears. 0-3 after having a team drop 70 points on you, down multiple touchdowns. I think it was 28-7, I want to say. I mean, we were down multiple touchdowns there. And Justin Fields had just been moving the ball all over us, and it seemed like hope was absolutely lost. And we stormed back, and we beat the Chicago Bears on the road. Now, that is something that would not have happened under Vic Fangio. It wouldn't have happened under Vance Joseph. Like, that wouldn't have happened under Nathaniel Hackett. That the culture has shifted, and you can't deny that. Culture is something that Peter Drucker said, culture eats strategy for breakfast, and that is a clear example there of a culture change. You hear Justin Simmons, the leader of this team, come out and say it, and then you just look at other culture turning points in this season. That we had that really crazy game against the Jets where, because of all the stuff Sean Payton said about Nathaniel Hackett, that ended up being like the Jets Super Bowl, right? And they came out and beat us. And then we had a schedule loss, and just 4 days later, we have to go to Kansas City. And right here is another great example. We let Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, they only scored 19 points on us at home. And they looked like we played them better than the Super Bowl defense in the San Francisco 49ers. Like, we held them to 19 points. And sure, we lost. And so right there, you're looking 1-5. Things are dark. We have the Green Bay Packers coming to town. A young quarterback. Green Bay is a legit franchise. They beat the Cowboys in the first round of the playoffs. And from there on, look at these next 5 games, all against teams that were in the playoffs or fighting for the playoffs. We're underdogs for every single one of those games. And we had every reason in the world to lose it. And you just see, this is Sean Payton. This is the culture change that he was talking about. And then you go to Houston with an incredibly hot team. CJ Stroud is the real deal. I doubted him at times this season and needed to see him prove it. But CJ Stroud was the real deal. And we are 4th and goal on the 7-yard, or we're 1st and goal on the 7-yard line with 4 chances to punch it in to beat the Houston Texans. And then, you could be like, oh, look at all hope is lost again. And we go in, and this was before Herbert got hurt, and we mollywop the Chargers, who are fighting for a playoff spot. We go to Detroit, who's a super hot team, who no one thought we had a chance against. And there you see amazing culture change as well. As our safety, PJ Locke, remember in this Chargers game, he got hit in the neck. He couldn't even swallow. He wasn't cleared to fly because he was at altitude. So what does he do? He goes and gets on an RV and does a 20-hour road trip to then get to the stadium just a few minutes before kickoff. And imagine like how jet lagged you are just being stuck in an RV all day and then going and playing football. So you just see so many inflection points here where our culture is shifting. We are now not in the cap purgatory that we thought we would be. And I think all hopes are ahead. We have a higher pick than we've had in several years. We got Javonte Williams coming back off a major 2-year injury, and so he should be back in the type of shape that we hope to see. And now we're going to have cap room to be able to build, and I just think the future is very, very bright for the Denver Broncos. I think you see that reflected in what our leader, Justin Simmons, said today, and I hope you all are here for it like I am, because Broncos country, it is time to giddy up. Oh, thought that was going to be the time. All right, next time I got it.